SpongeBob has been entertaining audiences for over 20 years now, and with all the goodness it has brought society, there's also some stuff that maybe should have stayed in Bikini Bottom, ranging from naughty audio recordings to creepypastas becoming reality and more. We've got what you're looking for today, so let's get into it. Sailor Mouth is a SpongeBob episode from season 2, where SpongeBob and Patrick learn a bad word and say a lot of naughty censored things. The episode begins when the Krusty Krab reaches closing time and SpongeBob is about to leave, but he's ordered by Mr. Krabs to take the trash out on his way out. Now when SpongeBob goes around to the back of the restaurant, he peruses some of the dumpster writing, eventually finding one passage in particular, reading, "Krabs is a bleep." As SpongeBob reads the last word, which is censored via a dolphin sound, a nearby garbage man is disgusted at his usage of the word, to the point where he asks SpongeBob if he kisses his mother with that mouth. Confused, SpongeBob repeats this new word to the arriving Patrick, who informs him it's a sentence enhancer used in refined conversation. While they begin to repeat it to themselves, use it in conversations. Fun fact, the use of dolphin noises as a censor tool is something that is super popular in internet culture to this day. Mr. Krabs asks SpongeBob and Patrick what this new word is, and Squidward explains it. Mr. Krabs is like, nope, that's not a fancy word. It's actually a bad word that is the 11th of 13 bad words that should never be uttered, because they're bad. So, this whole episode was kind of controversial because it uses humor related to profanity, despite the episode censoring out the apparent swear words with marine sound effects. So while the episode as a whole wasn't lost, the original audio was, because it was all censored. Well, what do you know? Back in February of this year, there was a little bit of a Nickelodeon leak, and the original, uncensored audio files were released, where you can actually hear SpongeBob cursing and saying lewd sentences. We have a clip from it, so I'll let you hear it play out, with the original animation over it.
Ah! Blow me!
So now that your brain is reeling, I'm here to confirm that yes, you did just hear the one and only SpongeBob say, "blow me." Yes, I know I mentioned earlier already. Because this episode was considered controversial, I just think it's neat knowing that the uncensored version is just Tom Kenny having fun and it's out there, and also just so punny. Here's a crazy story of how a creepypasta turned into a choice that actually made it on the show, but I don't think it should have. So Red Mist Squidward is an alternate universe version of Squidward Tentacles, who lives behind one of the many mysterious doors in Random Land. He appears in the uncut version of the episode SpongeBob in Random Land, but he was later replaced by a young version. Now this is a version of the character that has quite the online presence. It's a reference to a popular creepypasta based on SpongeBob titled Red Mist. Now this story hit the internet in 2006 and was accompanied with its first image of a drawn, creepy close-up of Squidward, inspired from Just One Bite. The story didn't gain much popularity until 2010, creating a second image of Squidward with red, misty eyes, standing in a creepy room, which would be known as the official Red Mist Squidward. Now this character was drawn into the storyboard by Adam Paloyan, who originally wanted the face to get closer and closer until Squidward slams the door shut. Vincent Waller said the show's crew wanted to make a reference to truly silly, trying to be dark fan fiction. Eagle Plum, a composer who joined the SpongeBob crew in 2019, created an original music track for Red Mist Squidward's appearance. It's called Red Mist Q, and a direct reference to the online story. The original track is about 15 seconds long, but only about 4 seconds can be heard clearly in the finished episode. So in later UK airings and US airings of SpongeBob in Random Land, the scene featuring Red Mist Squidward was censored due to a standards and practices issue. However, the original version of the scene remains intact on the Nick app version and certain international airings of the episode. In response to the censorship, Paloyan stated, "It's actually kind of fun it got censored." In July of 2022, the premise outline for an episode called Pineapple Princess was listed on eBay. This was to be produced in season 8 originally, and it was outlined by Richard Purcell on July 19th of 2010. The episode's plot follows SpongeBob meeting the Pineapple Princess of Bikini Top and her minions, well, out blowing bubbles. SpongeBob invites the princess over to his house, causing her old minions to leave, while she renovates the pineapple to look more like a palace. Patrick visits and is hired as one of her guards. The two take her to Krusty Krab, where she eats a large amount of Krabby Patties. Meanwhile, SpongeBob finds out that the Pineapple Princess has left against the king's will, and sees missing posters of her outside the Krusty Krab. So then, goes back to his place, finds the princess, and is like, maybe you should go home. Well, princesses being princesses, this one throws a tantrum, and she doesn't want to go home because all she can eat back home is pineapple-based foods, and she's hungry. Speaking of hungry, Patrick gets hungry, takes the three of them back to Bikini Top, and there it turns out that the princess's home is the Bikini Top grocery store. The king is an overweight man lying in a lawn chair, and he's just an actor in the commercials. However, he is grateful for SpongeBob and Patrick and has the princess make them pineapple lattes. She gets upset, threatens to run away again, and the king is like, "No attitude from you, little lady." Yeah, I can see how this premise kinda got ixnayed. But hey, now we know what could have been. Ooh, time for more found footage, hunted down from Reddit. The Endless Summer was produced at the same time as the series' 4th season, and it's where SpongeBob learns about global warming and its unforeseen circumstances. In the beginning of the clip, SpongeBob is on his way to work when he spots a large factory pipe mounted on the Krusty Krab's roof. Inside is a parked boat pumping carbon dioxide up into the pipe and out into the atmosphere. Mr. Krabs explains to SpongeBob that he's using global warming to his own advantage, creating an endless summer and allowing him to open a year-round Krusty Krab pool. However, SpongeBob has a plan to create a more effective endless summer. So later on, Mr. Krabs is seen in his office playing with tiny wax figurines of himself and a customer of the Krusty pool. However, the figures suddenly start to melt as a result of the rising temperature. So when Mr. Krabs exits his office and demands who turned up the heat, he sees 19 boats pumping carbon dioxide into the air. Outside, Bikini Bottom has become a burning wasteland. When Mr. Krabs finds SpongeBob throwing a tire into a pile of burning tires, he explains, "Hey, I'm here to help cause more global warming." Well, a mob of citizens are now seen running towards the Krusty Krab, and Mr. Krabs is like, "Yay, you're gonna help us out with the pool, you're gonna jump in the pool. SpongeBob, go fill it." Well, they run right over to Mr. Krabs, and Patrick explains to him that they're moving north, because they can't live here because it's too hot. Mr. Krabs is really frustrated with all the heat, and SpongeBob's like, "Woohoo, cannonball, pool time!" However, the water quickly evaporates and SpongeBob lands painfully in the empty pool, being like, "Oh." So yeah, overall, I guess we all kind of get the point, but why waste time on such a short? I feel like this was part of a scrapped episode. Fun fact, on August 3rd of 2011, this short was actually targeted by Fox News and called Liberal Bias by the hosts at the time, Steve and Gretchen. They accused Nickelodeon of pushing a global warming agenda, like it's not just sort of fact. Gretchen said, "SpongeBob is talking a lot about global warming, and he's only looking at it from one point of view." Well, I think that's the point of view of wanting to save the world, but sure. As if I was gonna do a list about lost SpongeBob episodes without talking about The Sponge Who Could Fly, which was totally just a regular episode, but it was marketed as being lost. It is the 19th episode of the 3rd season and the 59th overall episode of the series. Now, this episode was produced in 2002 and aired on Nickelodeon in the United States on March 21st of 2003. So, it's been a minute. In this musical episode, SpongeBob, who always wished he could fly with jellyfish, gains the ability to fly by putting a hairdryer in his pants. The episode is set within a framed story that features Patchy the Pirate. To promote this episode, Nickelodeon launched an on-air campaign called SpongeBob's Lost Episode, which culminated obviously with the premiere. Nickelodeon also partnered with Burger King to release a line of toys as a marketing tie-in to the event. This toy line consisted of 8 figures. We've got SpongeBob Silly Squirter, Swing Time Patrick, Jellyfish Fields, Plankton Bubble Up, Squirt and Whistle Squidward, Plush Shakin' SpongeBob, Karate Chop Sandy, and Gravity Defying Gary. The promotion ran for 5 weeks. Also during the same time, the chicken tender option on the menu came in fun star and lightning bolt shapes. Each of the toys released included a clue card containing a SpongeBob SquarePants character riddle, and by visiting Nickelodeon's website, the viewers could answer the riddle in order to win digital trading cards. Upon its release, The Sponge Who Could Fly was viewed by over 7 million people, but the episode got mixed to bad reviews from critics. David Cronk of the LA Daily News criticized the special as being a standard episode that was padded out to an extra length, with the live-action Patchy the Pirate segments being not terribly funny and what should be lost. I've been Alexa, your resident Ookie Spooky Girly. See y'all next time, you lovely spooky people.